Hello and welcome to my first episode of my politics run. When I say politics, I am not going to get into Democrats versus Republicans. I'm not going to get into who's right and who's wrong. That's not what I'm here for. I'm not about that. So, what I want to do is I would like to talk about politics in general, the nature of politics, new legislation, how the government works, how other governments work, why the government is either a good thing or a bad thing, different forms of government. We can talk about democracy, a republic, a socialist government, a Marxist government, and things like that. So I want to do an episode on everything, and I think the most appropriate way I can kick this off is first talking about the social contract. So there were three major players with the social contract. You have Rousseau, Locke, and Hobbes. So I want to kind of go over each of their theories on the social contract, and once I've gone over them, we'll talk about it a little more in depth. So we're going to start with Thomas Hobbes. So Hobbes' theory of social contract first appeared in the Leviathan in 1651 during the Civil War in Britain. According to Hobbes, prior to social contract, man lives in a state of nature, chaotic conditions of constant fear. Man has natural desire for security and order. For this, they surrender their freedom and rights to some authority by a contract who must command obedience. This leads to the emergence of monarchy as mightiest authority to protect and preserve their lives and property. Moral obligations are placed on sovereignty, and he will be bound by natural law. Hobbes is a supporter of absolutism. He upheld the principle of might is right. So, a little quote, law is dependent upon the sanction of the sovereign, and the government without sword are but words and of no strength to secure a man at all. Next, we're going to talk about John Locke. The state of nature has a law of nature to govern it, which obliges everyone, and reason, which is that law, teaches all mankind, who will but consult it, that being all equal and independent, no one ought to harm another in his life, health, liberty, or possessions. And finally, we're going to talk about Rousseau. So, Rousseau believed that man is born free and he is everywhere in chains. The contract liberates people from the rude state of nature. Socialistic view of the relationship between the individual and society. The contract does not change people or their rights, but rather it offers guarantees. It guarantees individualism by prohibiting excessive individualism or self-interest. So the reason I chose this particular one is because at the end it kind of puts it into perspective. To Hobbes and Locke, political institutions are a necessary evil. Rousseau believed that they were a blessing. So I wanted to go over these three because I believe that it's important to think about. Why do we govern? Why are we the only creatures on this planet who govern in our traditional sense? Well, the answer to that is because we need to, according to the social contract. Why we need to, then that's when we start getting to other theories. According to Locke and Hobbes, it's because we are inherently violent creatures, and we need to bargain as a collective. We need to get together and we need to make an agreement to give some of our individual rights over to a higher power, in other words, the government, or really any other higher power. I mean, it doesn't necessarily have to be government. It can be the church, whatever, some governing body. We submit that right, and in turn, they protect our remaining rights. So, Rousseau didn't think so. He thought we were a benign creature, and we do it for the betterment of each other. Now, the reason I bring the social contract up is because in history, we have always had some form of government, at least in recorded history. I realize that, there's lots of unrecorded stuff, prehistory. As cavemen, we probably maybe a rudimentary form of government, such as having a tribe leader or some sort of person who would coordinate everyone in the tribe and give everyone jobs and make sure everyone was taken care of. Now, government can be tyrannical because government is power, and absolute power corrupts absolutely. So, what do we do with this? You can look at it how you like. I really can't say either way. I don't personally think man or human is inherently evil. I think people can be evil. If you think about wars are started by people. They're started by individuals, maybe several individuals, but not the human race as a collective. We don't start wars. Wars are fought over lots of things: land, power, money. There's a lot of reasons why we fight wars, but generally wars tend to benefit very few. And usually it's the governing body that benefits the most. And it's the governing body that usually initiates a response to wars. So, at the end of the day, what I think the social contract and all three of them does get right is that as a collective, we come together as a race. And sure, we section off into, this group, that group, and that group based on where we live, our region, so on and so forth. And we submit some of our individual rights. And we do it for the greater good, right? I can't just go out and kill someone because I don't like them, because it's against the law. I give up that right I have to take vengeance upon someone who has wronged me, and in turn, the government issues some form of police, and the police will come and exact that vengeance for me in some form or another. Some countries are a little more harsh than others are when exacting said vengeance, but I think it's important to remember that we need that control. I shouldn't go kill someone because they wronged me. It doesn't necessarily make it right. Do I believe some people deserve to die? Yeah, absolutely. I mean, you got people in the world like the Angel of Death, Charles Manson. You got a lot of twisted people that really, really shouldn't be on this planet. And that's just my opinion. Not everyone agrees. And that's fine. But the social contract should always be kept in mind when you're talking about government, every form of government. So, what do you think? Do you think the social contract is a good thing? Do you believe in it? Do you not believe in it? Do you think it's a whole load of shit? Let me know in the comments. Also, don't forget to like, subscribe, and hit that bell. It helps support me, helps support the channel, gets my word out there, and feedback is always liked and appreciated. So, have a good day, and thank you.